It might not come anytime soon, but it's possible someone could eventually overtake Diana Taurasi as the WNBA's all-time leader in three-pointers made. Today, I want to run through 5 records that I view as unbreakable, or at the very least, they might take a half century to be broken. Before we get into the list, a quick shout out to Across the Timeline, not a sponsor by the way, it's just an incredibly helpful resource for me when conducting research to these videos. It's completely free, a link will be in the description below. If there's any Diana Taurasi record that is going to stand until the end of time, it is her career technical fouls in both the regular season and the postseason. She has 117 in her career. The next player has 52, and the next active player is Tiffany Hayes with 35, and then Brittany Griner with 34. You know, DT arguing with the refs, even if she's not in the game, she's arguing with the refs. Nobody is going to break this. It's almost impossible to imagine that happening. And then, sort of on this path as well, this is a list of the all-time leading scorers with 0 technical fouls in their career, the complete opposite of Taurasi. It's Maya Moore. I didn't plan on including this in the video, but I do believe the chances of a top 30 all-time leading scorer having no technical fouls in their entire career is just so unlikely. Maya Moore is one of one. This is something that's just never going to happen again. I just can't imagine it. Tamika Catchings is the best perimeter defender in WNBA history. Elena Beard is probably after her at 2, but besides that, there's a clear separation. Pretty much the only 2 wings in recent WNBA history over the last decade and a half to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. Catchings, like we know, has won the most Defensive Player of the Year awards ever from a wing. It's an award that usually goes to bigs, but for Catchings, she has 1,074 career steals. That is more than any other player, and by a long margin as well. Tisha is at 2 with 764, and there's no active player in the top 6. If you want to find the next active player, you have to go all the way down to Nneka Ogwumike at 591, and then Dewana Bonner at 586. Both of these players are far too old to break Catchings' record, so if it happens, it's going to be a player that's coming up in the draft in the next couple years. But even then, Catchings has the all-time career steals per game record as well, so to break her record, you basically have to average 2.3 steals per game and then also play 15 years in the league. Does that happen? Players are so good now. We'll see. We'll see. Moving to our next record, the most single-season free throw attempts in a game without a make is 8, and that was set by Cheryl Ford in August of 2005. Since then, the closest anybody has come to breaking that was in 2008, and that was 7. And the closest game that we have seen was from Alyssa Thomas in 2021, but even then, it was an 0-for-5 game, which is still 3 off of Ford's record. I just believe shooters are way too good in 2024 for this record to be broken. Even the worst free throw shooters are better than an average free throw shooter in the mid-2000s, so this record will probably stand for decades to come. Basically, the opposite of Ford's record is this one by Penny Taylor. This is the most single-game playoff free throw attempts without a miss, and that is 18. Yes, 18 in a row, 18 for 18, and that was from Penny Taylor in the 2007 WNBA Finals. Just the biggest moment you could possibly have. Going 18 for 18 in the clutch is insane. But beyond that, only 5 times has a player taken 18 free throw attempts in a playoff game. Yes, free throw shooters are so good in 2024, and it's going to only get better as the years go on. But the most difficult part for me is not just the 18 for 18, it's getting that many free throw attempts in a single game. This record by Penny Taylor is going to stand for a while. This is a very niche record, but the quickest foul out in WNBA history came from Sharon Manning in July 2000. She fouled out in under 5 minutes of action, the only player to do so in league history. Number 2 is Elena Coates at 5:56 minutes of play, and then Coates again at 6:17, which was actually last season. There's been players also that have been near that 7 to 8 minute mark, but for Manning, under 5 minutes. The unfortunate part is we do not have film of this game, or at least I don't have this film right now. So we're just stuck with looking at the play-by-play data. And the funny part is all of these fouls came in the first half. What I would figure from this number is all 6 were late game, garbage time, just fouls to get to the free throw line. But no, 3 came in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then the rest also came in the second quarter. Just an unreal game. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, no film. We'll have to trust the play-by-play data on this one. I was originally only going to keep this to individual player records, but I do have one team record that I want to cover here, and that is the Minnesota Lynx in 2017 set the largest margin of victory in a regular season game in league history, and they beat the Indiana Fever by 59 points. That was well past the previous record at plus 46 by Seattle in 2010, and then before that, it was set by the Dynasty four-peat Houston Comets in the late 90s. Just for reference, the largest margin of victory in any game this season was set by New York against the Indiana Fever, which was plus 36. So yeah, that is over 20 points off of the largest margin of victory in league history. I don't have an answer to this, so if anybody else has a better idea, want to share their perspective in the comments below, let me know. But I do not know if these expansion teams coming up are going to be this bad to where they're going to get beat by 60 points. In the modern day, that would basically mean you're going to have to score 120 points. The other team's going to have to score less than 60. Does that happen? It just seems just so unlikely, because even in 2024, an expansion team isn't going to score 40 points in a game. So you have to either score the most points in any game of all time and also give up the lowest points we've ever seen in a game since scoring wasn't as high. The averages weren't as high. Does it happen? Maybe. I wouldn't say this is completely unlikely. Of the 6 records I've talked about today, this is the most likely record to be broken. Does it happen? I do not think so, though. Anyways, if you made it this point in the video, I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button for more WNBA content, scouting content, WNBA history content, all of it across the board you can find on this channel. If you have any ideas of what you want to see from me in the future, it could be super niche, it could be super broad. I've got some ideas, but I'm always open to new ideas as well. Anyways, like I said, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you can be notified when each video is uploaded. I'll see y'all next time.